also known as Gildenlock in other places. And I wanted to make a little video covering the new update that has hit us in Conan Exiles, known as 1.63, and all the new workstations that we've gotten. The reason for this video is just to help you guys pick out some of the new workstations to build, as well as how to assemble them in your new base, with some ideas I have here. So I've got a plant-based tannery here. Now, one big thing is that what was originally fireball cauldrons has now been separated into 3 workstations, and I am building the new fancy, enormous, high-end versions here. So, fireball cauldron is now only making these 4 things, and you notice a big change. The stone consolidant recipe has changed here. Alchemist bench is now for all of our potions, etc. So, and some extra recipes here with the T4 thrall that I have there. And now, to simplify things, all your dyes now have their own bench as well. Now, the casting table is a new station to help keep your forges uncluttered. And they pretty much are just for making molds and all the things that you make in molds. So all that stuff is less complicated. You probably wouldn't need this as a new player, but as someone who's trying to have a completed base, it's a handy thing to have. We're just hopping over this old school improved tannery to take a quick look at a couple new forges. We got the old school improved furnace. We got a fuel efficient furnace, which as you can see is huge. I literally had to cut a hole in my base to fit the thing in there. And we have heat efficient furnace. Now, one thing here I want to cover, it's a little underwhelming, is the fact that these the furnaces and the tanneries, there's a little error in the description. So if you read the description for things like the heat efficient furnace, it says something about how it uses less resources, but it actually just makes stuff faster, which is I feel like it's a bit misleading. But anyway, it is so out of these 2 furnaces, I mean, it's not too essential. This one's easier to build if you're in like a small base like this one. It is going to tear through your fuel a lot faster, but that's probably not an issue for most people because you probably got lots of dry wood or something like that sitting around. So out of all the buildings that are speed-based, this is the only one I like. Everything else, when I pick a version of it, I'm going for the efficiency version. We'll just keep going through this. So we have got our Garrison Blacksmith here with the T4 Blacksmith, and I've been reforging a lot of weapons recently in order to make better versions of those, and that is the result of the T4, the new T4 Blacksmith, not the station. The station is helping me cut down on the cost the way the T4 used to. So now with the T4 and with the best station, you're now getting the reduced cost and stronger items together. And for weapons, I recommend an Edgesmith, and for your tools, I recommend a Tempersmith. Got the Precision Carpenter's Bench here. Really hasn't changed much from the old Carpenter's Bench. It's pretty much just doing the same thing. You want to build this high-end version to keep the efficiency. Now here's a station that's so this is the Tinker's Bench. So now this is now taken over some functions that the Armorer's Bench and the Blacksmith Bench used to have. So it's now making weapon attachments, tool upgrades, all the different armor kits and repair kits. So that is what the Tinker's Bench now. So probably going to want to get one pretty early in your gameplay, but definitely end game you're going to be throwing lots of hardened steel here, so you can upgrade everything at this Tinker's Bench. And finally I built a Garrison Armorer's Bench. And we have a T4. I still don't have a shield right yet, but you can see the recipes are a lot less cluttered. I don't have to hang on to my old school, like my regular armorer's bench anymore, because it's pretty much the recipes aren't as cluttered now. So I don't need to go there to build those little armor upgrade kits. So much less cluttered. So you can see that's a quick look at a handful of the new stations. The ones that I left out, the ones I didn't bother building, I'll just go to my feats here really quick. You can see, so for virtually every station, there was an option to build like either a campaign or a garrison, and I always went with garrison, for example, because I mean that's going to cut down on the time you spend gathering materials. I'd much rather make things more efficiently than quickly, as that is going to have the biggest impact on, you know, how much time I spend having to do things to get other things done. As you can see here, it's the same Garrison Bench. It's called Trade and Precision, and I went with Precision there. Tannery. Oh, and one. I do have like 2 tanneries. I'll explain that in a second. I went with the plant-based tannery just to cut down on fuel costs. I actually haven't used that one yet, but we'll get into that in a second. What else was there? But yeah, by this point, you guys should get it. We're typically going with whatever has the word precision or garrison, and ignoring anything that's got the word like campaign or anything like that. So that should pretty much cover it. Also, while we're here, you'll notice there's been other little changes. They've changed the way that healing works in the game and heat works in the game, and a bunch of different things. So that is that's well worth noting. We can cover that later. But yeah, now I just want to kind of get into why I built my base and these stations in the specific placement that I did. You'll see there's quite a lot of you know, synergy here to kind of help the workflow. So for instance, you've got the Fireball Cauldron, which makes the tannery next to Fireball Cauldron, because you want to send your tar into here, and then you want to send your steel fire into the furnace, and then you want to send your steel into the blacksmith bench. So I'll just do like throw some items down, just to do like a demonstration here. So I have my inventory here. It's slightly disorganized just because I've been out on a long trip to kind of like, you know, to pick a bunch of things up from the jungle. I got stuff all over the place. I can sit at one station here, or I can and just drop off everything, or I can move between stations, right? Like when I get down here to the iron, right? Let's see. Let's take the stone here. Also, you can see this. Here's the heat efficient. It's processing that very rapidly, as you can see. Or we'll go into the fuel efficient. We'll throw some things in here just to see the difference. So you can see it's processing the iron much more slowly, but it's the amount of time it takes to burn through a piece of coal is considerable, whereas this is just burning through coal like crazy. So yeah, you can see the reason I group things like this. So, like I said, so we've got the so that's the steel production, and I've kept the old school tannery like this because it gives me a nice little gap. I can just hop through. I can stumble through that. So you want all the relevant bases grouped together, right? Tinker's Bench in between these two, so the finished product can get updated really quick. You know, dryer next to your carpenter. You know, so it's all kind of arranged in a nice like kind of T-shaped thing to make the workflow really good, and also to make dropping off supplies really quick as well. And yeah, so for designing an efficient base, I definitely recommend something like this. Also, you know, other things like that, like the casting table right next to the new casting table right next to the new dyer. So all these glass flasks can just go right in here, or right in here. And then I've got a grinder here, So I throw some plants in there. Let's see, I had a bunch of so purple lotus goes in here, and then when that's done, I can just go in here, and then yeah, so you guys can see that, and then horsies can go in the freezer. So you guys can have a rough idea of how all the new workstations are functioning, how to set up your base. Obviously, it's probably come to your attention that the design is kind of very PvE centric right here. But I'll just touch on some things really quick. So if you were on, obviously the design would be similar in terms of grouping your workstations together on a PvP. That would be pretty much the same. You just want to remember things like, obviously, I don't have any religious buildings in here, and on PvP, religious buildings are really important. So are your spawn points. So I'd want to, you know, with your base design in mind, I'd want to put maybe your bed or spawn points right at the center, the most protected part of your base. Get a religious building in the middle top of your base. Say something like Durketo would be great, because you could get those potions and farm your god bubble at the same time. And we got a world map up top here. Now we are on the Argosian tile set here, for anyone who's been curious about that. This is from the Architects Argos pack. It is, I can go a bit more into that later. If anyone's curious about that, I can make a video on the tile set and what it's like to use it and work with it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the video. I hope you guys have found that really informative and will help you come up with your own base building designs. If you guys have got any questions about base building or where to collect items or anything about Conan Exiles, feel free to shoot me a message in the comments below. I hope you guys found that really informative and useful. And until next time, I will see you guys later.